And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Tampa Bay Rays, Devil Rays, whatever the hell you call them now, edition. I like the Devil Rays personally.
I do too.
But, yes, as you can imagine, we are going to talk about the Rays Mount Rushmore, which doesn't have a super long history, so it won't be a ton of all-time greats here, but we'll do what we can. I don't think all five of us are here today. I don't think I have much more to go over, other than we're watching an NBA game. So if we make a comment about basketball, that's why. And let's get started. Drew, who is your number 4 on your Rays Mount Rushmore?
My number 4 is Ben Zobrist.
Ben Zobrist.
My number 4. Yeah, my bad.
He did not make my list.
I almost put him on, but I ended up not putting him on.
Who'd you say?
Ben Zobrist.
Okay, yeah, I got him at 3.
Well, he was in Tampa for 9 years. He batted .264. He had... It's hard when I got rated just by team. 511 RBIs, 114 home runs, 229 doubles. His on-base percentage was .354. He was on their World Series team. He was an all-star 2 times in Tampa. He's one of the people I think of when I think about the Tampa Bay Rays. He was one of their good players.
Crazy part about Zobrist was a lot of these teams have like these little utility guys that come off the bench and can play a couple different positions and help do stuff. Zobrist was a utility guy that made all-star teams. Like, he legit could play like 4 or 5 different positions.
He did that.
And he was really good at all of them, or at least decent at all.
So unfortunately, it wasn't with the Rays, but he won a World Series MVP.
He played in a World Series with the Rays, I think.
Yeah, he was on their World Series team. Like, he went to Kansas City, won a World Series, and then the very next year he went to Chicago and won their World Series, and I think he was the MVP.
Yeah. Over the course of his career, he has pitched. He has played 27 games at first base, 911 games at second, 8 games at third, 236 at short, 223 in left field, 34 in center field, 466 in right field, and 28 games at DH.
So I'm saying, he was a utility guy.
He's played every position but catcher.
Say, for his career, he's got 1,500 hits, 160 home runs, batted almost .270.
He was a really quality player, though, in his prime.
He's a quality player you want on your lineup. He had 760 RBIs for his career. Yeah. So, I mean,
he was like the best utility guy in the MLB for a while.
Yeah. He was a good piece to put on your team if you wanted to make a run.
He was a very, very handy piece to have. Well, I mean, Alex just named all the positions he could play. And he was actually like really good at a lot of those. I don't think he was great at all of those, but there were like 4 or 5 that he played.
He was a very good second baseman.
Yeah. He was a good outfielder. Like, he wasn't a bad outfielder by any means either.
Yeah.
He played the spot where you were weakest at, and he could do it. Like, he could, like...
And he could be at least decent or average or good at it, depending on the position. It was just really, really handy and kind of crazy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's not with the Rays, obviously, but he has a World Series MVP, which is, cool for a role player.
I think you see that a lot in baseball. Like, some of the role players, all it takes is to have one good series.
Yeah, I mean, really, you're talking about, I got hot for 3 games, and you can win the World Series MVP. I mean,
I feel like you see that more in, like, baseball than you do the other sports. It's like, obviously, football, it's the Super Bowl, it's one game.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
I think, like, the little run he went on.
All right, then.
It's a weather alert. Don't worry about it.
Oh. He was part of the core that took the Rays to their first ever World Series. And then he was part of that Royals team that hadn't been relevant forever. And then they all of a sudden make these couple runs to the World Series and actually win one. He was part of that, like you said, Drew.
Then the very next year, he goes to Chicago, who hasn't won one.
And breaks the curse in Chicago. And then that's when he became really famous because he had that little run of bam, 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 bam. And he was on all these crazy teams, and he was doing all this crazy stuff for him.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He went to the World Series with the Rays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he was. Yeah, I would say he was on that team, but they lost.
Yeah.
Was it?
He was part of their core that made their first ever World Series.
They played the Phillies.
Yeah.
I can't remember if it's 08 or 09.
I don't know the year, but I know they lost to the Phillies.
It's one of those two
Because it's the year I think they beat the Red Sox in Game 7 in the AL Championship after the Red Sox had coming off a World Series, I think.
So that would have been.
Well, we won the World Series in 04 and 07.
So it could have been 08. You might have been right, Drew.
I think it's 08 or 09. Yeah, it's one of those two. Because the Phillies go back-to-back years. They go.
Yeah, they were in the World Series in 08.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
I knew the.
I think the Phillies go the next year from the NL, I believe.
Yeah, it's the Phillies, yeah.
Yeah, because they win one, and then 09 they go back and they lose to someone.
Who beats them in 09?
The Yankees.
Well,
that's
the
the
Yankees won in 10.
I thought they won in 11.
Yeah, say the
No, the Cardinals won in 11.
Oh.
11, yeah.
Well, who would have won out of the American League back then?
Jeter and Rodriguez get one there.
I thought it was 09 when the Yankees won. They've only got one in the 2000s, and it's right there somewhere, though.
Yeah, it's 09 or
the Yankees.
Yeah, because the Phillies go back-to-back years. They beat the Rays. I think they lose to the Yankees. And then I think to the Giants go in like 2010.
The Yankees win it in 09.
I can't even think of who all was good outside of the AL East team back then in the American League.
The Rangers. The Rangers are about to go on a 2-year period because they lose to the Giants and the Cardinals. They were hot for 2
Those were
years.
like the Josh Hamilton
Let's
years.
say that would have been when Verlander and Scherzer were in Detroit.
And they had Miguel and Prince
Prince
Fielder.
Fielder.
Yeah, they were good.
Who else was there? Yeah.
They had that
Didn't
good
the
DH, Victor Martinez.
Yeah, Victor Martinez.
Didn't the A's somehow make the playoffs, though, those years?
They
I
were
know
just
they weren't
pop
good.
in and out.
Every once in a while, they'd be good one year and then the next.
I think that would have been after Chavez and Tejada and Zito and Mulder and those guys, but I don't remember who
they were
would
like
have
early 2000s.
Yeah, they were early 2000s.
Some of those were even in the 90s.
Who else in the AL?
I can't think.
I can't think of anybody. I just think of the Tigers, the Rangers.
When I think of that period of time and like that early to later 2000s, I just think of usually like the Red Sox, Yankees, Rays.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a Rays fan.
I know the Rangers had 2 years in there and they blew it.
Well, the White Sox won a World Series in 06.
Yeah.
When the Royals have theirs.
It's
Right,
like,
wasn't that
2015? They were 2015 were the Royals.
Well, they won it, but I remember, was it 06?
What year? Who was it 07? Because didn't the Cardinals win in 06?
05. They were 05. They played the Astros in 05. Because the Red Sox win in 04.
Yeah, we win in 04. Yeah.
05 is the White Sox and the Astros, and it's the Cardinals and the Tigers in 06, and then the Red Sox win in 07.
Yep.
And,
And
the
then
Phillies beat the
Rays in 08, and then the Yankees beat the Phillies in 09.
And you said,
And then I think 10 is the Giants beat the Rangers, and 11's the Cardinals beat the Rangers.
okay.
And then the Giants go back in 12 and beat
Yeah, because the Giants
What year are
won,
you talking
like,
about?
2012.
2012
14,
is
18,
the Tigers.
Tigers. I think they beat the Tigers. It's been a while since I've done World Series matchups.
I haven't gone down this memory lane in a long time.
All right, well, we're just on our first number 4, so we should probably move along. All right,
Just-
who has the
Shouldn't there be 3 of us? Did
Is it
you have
3?
him too?
Yeah.
And I had him and Drew had him.
Okay.
So, Wade, you have a 4 left?
Yeah.
Who's your 4, sir?
Well, I originally did have Zobrist, and I really liked Zobrist, but I just kind of remember when the Rays were brand new, when Fred McGriff and Wade Boggs went there, it was kind of a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were the first big people to ever be a Ray when the Rays were. So I put Fred McGriff on my list. It's because Fred McGriff jumped around a ton of his career, but he did have like 3 pretty good seasons in Tampa Bay. I think 2 of them are really nice, like 30 home runs, 100 RBI, nice.
Would they call him the crime dog?
Yeah.
Yep.
Crime dog.
He's he just got in the Hall of Fame recently, didn't he?
Did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
And so I mean he's a Hall of Fame guy that's had like 2, 3, 4 quality years in Tampa Bay.
5. I mean, I don't know if quality, but he played 5 years
Yeah,
there.
I think he had one. I think his very last year was there, and he barely played. But he jumped around a lot at the end of his career. It was really
Actually,
weird.
he played 5 years in Tampa, 5 years in Atlanta, 5 years in Toronto, 3 years in San Diego, 2 years in Chicago, 1 year in L.A.
So but for a team like the Rays, I feel like having a Hall of Fame first baseman who is, well, played 5 years there, and that's the longest tenure of his career, tied with some other teams. That's a big deal. So, I mean, how many other Hall of Famers can we say for Rays?
That's true. I mean,
Not too many.
No.
it was at the end of his career for the most part, but he wasn't garbage. I mean, he had 291 in Tampa. I mean,
he had a couple seasons of 30 homers, 100 RBIs, didn't he? Or at least close to it.
he had 32, 104, 27, 106. Yeah, so right there, close. Yeah.
Yeah. He has another season where he's pretty solid, like right before that, I think.
Yeah, he's 19 homers, 81 RBIs the year before that.
So yeah, I just thought, if he can squeeze a Hall of Famer on there for the Rays, might as well try it. And it was a big deal back then when McGriff and Boggs went to the Rays. The Rays had never had any. I mean, obviously they were a brand new team.
Well, they signed them to be a big. They wanted to bring in household names to their teams that people would pay attention to, and they really brought Boggs in because he was getting ready to have his 3,000th hit, and they were like, "Oh, this is newsworthy."
That did become a big moment. He got his 3,000th hit with a home run.
Yeah,
of all people, Wade Boggs, who had no home runs,
right? Yeah,
he had no power,
and he was the only player to ever do that until just like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
and then Jeter did it.
The disgusting
more than
face
a couple
when he
years
said
ago.
that.
It's been longer than what we think.
It's probably like 10 or 11 years ago.
Of course he did it, though. God, Jeter.
He probably would. Yeah. But anyway, I just thought McGriff would be a solid 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. I always liked Fred McGriff.
Yeah, me too.
He was on the World Series team in Atlanta, right?
I know they were close to that time. I don't know if he was actually on the
I
team.
think he was, but
It says 1995 World Series right here. I should have just looked at the page. All right. Who has a 4 left? Ray, who you got, buddy?
David Price.
he's my 3.
He's my 3.
Yeah, he's my 3.
He's my 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Unanimous, huh?
So David's
Nice.
in.
Nice.
This is where David Price got his start.
He's the greatest pitcher in Rays history, probably.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, he won a Cy Young there, which for the Rays is a big deal.
Yeah, that was my thing. Like, if you win an MVP or a Cy Young in a franchise like this, I kind of feel like we have to consider you.
Well, the Cy Young year, he was 20-5. I'm trying to scroll to see everything. Where's it all at? His ERA was 2.5. I'm guessing the whole league.
2 ERA type. I don't know if they were.
He was a
both
strikeout
Tampa.
pitcher in his prime, too.
He was a power pitcher for sure.
Yeah.
And this is his longest stop in his career. He won his Cy Young there. He also, a lot of people forget this, his rookie year, it was less than a year since he was drafted. He was drafted and was called up the following year to be the closer on a team that went to the World Series.
Shoot. The pressure on you.
Yeah, he closed the Red Sox out in Game 7 of the ALCS.
To go to the World Series,
Yeah, to go to the World Series, yeah. Like,
I mean, that was his coming onto the scene moment. That was his big first moment. Yeah.
Now, weirdly enough, for almost the entirety of the rest of his career, he was dog shit in the playoffs. But he came in as a rookie and was like, you know what? I'm a beast. And like just shoved it up everybody's ass as a closer.
Well, the Rays kind of fell. They had that period of time where they made that first World Series, and then they lost all their talent like a year or two later. And then they
don't pay anybody.
They had
They're one of the markets that doesn't pay anybody.
It was David Price and Longoria left all by themselves, trying to rally them to do something. And there was some weird years in there where there just wasn't a lot of. It's the Rays, they're kind of goofy.
Yeah.
Well,
we're seeing it now. They made the World Series, and now it's just, you can go.
I have strong feelings about Evan Longoria, but I'm going to wait until we say his name until I go too far into it.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, there was some weird years. When Price and Longoria first came in, they were surrounded by all this talent, and then all the talent just, when they came to their primes, all the talent left and got paid elsewhere. It was kind of weird. And they kind of had to slowly figure stuff out after that, and then they kind of left and aged out, and it was kind of unfortunate.
Kind of sounds like every time LeBron puts a team together.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, well, yeah. The Rays have figured it out lately, though. They're doing good.
Yeah, this last year though
they've been pretty damn good for a little while now.
They've been good, yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of fell apart towards this last year, and then
they just always find a way to have pitching and defense and be efficient on the base paths and. Anyway, but
all right. Anything else on David Price?
not really.
All right. Well, I still have a 4 left. So we're gonna have 4 number 4s,
jeez.
I guess. But my number 4 is the only other player to win a Cy Young in Tampa Bay, and that would be Blake Snell.
Oh, okay.
Snell was good.
I was again like, well, he won a fucking Cy Young in Tampa Bay. I don't know if I want to leave him
fair
off.
point.
I mean, he's got 2 Cy Youngs, just the other one's not in Tampa. Again, he was not there for his whole career because they got rid of him because they didn't want to pay him. But he spent at least a majority of his career in Tampa at this point. In Tampa, he had a 3.2 ERA. He had a winning record, which is something to achieve in Tampa during at least periods. He won an ERA title. He led the league in wins one year. I don't really know, but he had a 20-win season,
What was his overall record there?
42-30.
Not bad.
Probably the biggest thing he's known for is getting taken out in that game against the Dodgers. in the World
Yeah,
Series.
I was getting ready to bring that up. Like he pitched them all the way to the brink of a World Series, just being flat dominant. He pitched 6 shutout innings
Yeah.
in the deciding game to go to the World Series, and they took him out of the game, and the bullpen got shelled.
Really?
Yeah, the Dodgers. Then the Dodgers go on the.
Who the fuck
Yeah.
was the
Yep.
manager?
What is his? It's the guy that's there now.
Yeah, he's still there now.
Uh,
Yeah, but no, yeah, he gave up like 2 hits. And like
Kevin Cash.
He gave up like a hit or 2 in the 7th, and he pulls him. I'm like,
Two
guys-
hits in the 7th, and you pull the guy out.
Yeah,
That's
he was
how
he
modern
had like
baseball-
11 or 12 strikeouts. Like
Yeah,
he was lights
he was
out.
dealing against the Dodgers.
It's modern baseball. It's all about
Oh my
analytics
God.
and
Yep.
crap. I mean, the Dodgers do that shit all the time.
Oh, that's
Yeah, Brian Roberts has done that a bunch of
Like,
times.
and screwed himself and like
Or
lost
was
his
it
team.
or was that
to
Dave
series.
Roberts? Brian Roberts.
all the TikToks.
Dave. Yeah, he's Dave. Yeah.
All the TikToks I see about the Dodgers, like, yeah, Dodgers won 135 games, but the Arizona Diamondbacks 84-74 with the power of friendship. In the divisional round, we're about to sweep them 4-0.
Bob sent me this thing, and this picture had 9 slots in it, and it said the Los Angeles Dodgers lineup in like 2030. And it was like Kanye West, Jesus Christ, Santa Claus. It was a couple, yeah, and they're
No,
like
I said
Otani, Betts, and then it was some more fictional characters like Aragon and some other stuff.
But no, yeah, I see those all the time. It's like this 89 and like 70 team with the power of friendship beat the Dodgers, who
Is that a goddamn Care Bears reference?
I don't
Maybe,
know, but
actually,
it just
it might
says
be.
it just says that wild card team that wants to make a magical run together. It's about family. They
Dude,
beat
that's-
every year. The Cardinals used to do it to the Dodgers every year. They kill Kershaw in game 1, and then they never look
I
back.
was gonna say,
Oh my
all you gotta do is wait till they pitch Kershaw, and you're off to the races.
That's what the
then.
Diamondbacks did to him this year. Game
Yeah.
1, they scored like 7 runs in the first inning. He
Yeah.
can't pitch in the playoffs.
Yeah, he just, yeah.
But when you say that, Dodger fans get fucking irate. They act like you're making shit up.
I mean, there was
What is
really,
there to make up?
there's really nothing to say about this past year. He just got destroyed. Like,
Yeah.
Quite a few times in the playoffs.
yeah.
I mean, it's
There was like a little period of time where, at least in my opinion, like when he would come to the playoffs, he would have like 4 or 5 dominant innings, and you'd be like, "Oh, Kershaw's finally going to have that run in the playoffs." And then that 5th or 6th inning, he'd give up like 7 runs.
Yep.
and it'd be over. And it's like,
The only time he's ever been super successful in the playoffs was the year they won the World Series, because they only played a 60-game season. He was still fresh by the time the playoffs rolled around, and he pitched really well in the playoffs and helped pitch them to a World Series. But he wears down over the course of a full season.
yeah, he's really not a big guy. For
He's
compared
tall,
to-
but
he's tall, but he's
yeah,
not like yeah.
Yeah.
he's never been like a guy that looks like he's in like great shape. Like, I don't know. Baseball players are weird.
Yeah. All right. Who's got a 3 left? Drew?
I don't think I
I
have.
have 2 left.
Yeah.
No 3 for you, Wade?
Nope.
No 3 for you, Uncle Doug? Ray?
No, my 3 was Zobrist.
And my 3 was so no 3s left. All right, that's good. All right, Drew, you got 2?
Yeah,
Who's your 2?
Carl Crawford.
He's also my 2.
He's also my 2.
I slid him up to 1.
Yeah, I figured.
That's my 2 as well.
Oh, so Carl's in.
So, Carl.
Well, let's let Wade talk about
Yeah, well, you
Carl
can talk
Crawford.
about him.
Yeah.
Carl.
Well, my 2 favorite players ever are King Griffey and Carl Crawford.
I like Carl Crawford.
Back in the day when I was a Rays fan, Carl Crawford was my guy. I have a number one. Well, one because he is my favorite player on Rays history, but I just think overall he was a little bit better than Longoria, maybe for a smidge bit longer period of time, maybe. It doesn't really matter. They're both on a pretty equal footing. But Carl in his prime, he's going to hit you between 280 and 315 and get you 10 to 18 home runs maybe. He can get you 70 to 90 RBIs and steal you 50 bases, maybe 60.
Yeah, I mean,
won a Gold Glove.
Here in this 3-year stretch, he led the league in triples 3 years in a row, 19, 15, 16, and then stolen bases 55, 59,
he was the best
46,
player.
but then 58, 50. The stuff I read about him, I mean, I didn't watch him as much as I know the other guy, but like they said he was electric and like it was just fun
He
to
was
watch.
nasty. If
was.
his career didn't completely just get derailed after he left the Rays, I think he had a shot at maybe being a Hall of Famer, but he got derailed quickly after he left Tampa Bay. But
That's why I have mixed feelings about old Carl Crawford.
because he went to the Red Sox.
He went to the Red Sox, we signed him to a gigantic deal, and then he sucked ass the whole time he was with us.
The funny part was he left you all as when he kind of got older and went to the Dodgers and had like this insane year where he like played like 120 or 30 games. I think I'm just remembering this on the back of my head, but I think he had a real high batting average again. And
Well, he played part-time with the Dodgers. He had a season where he hit 280 and a season where he hit 300.
yeah, the 300.
Then he tanked after
was probably
that.
old
But
by that point.
he's like 32. Yeah, I mean, he's a part-time player, and he didn't really steal bases anymore and stuff. But no, I really liked Carl Crawford when he was in Tampa. Like he was, like Wade said, he was really exciting, and I was super stoked when we signed him because I was like, oh man, like Carl Crawford at Fenway, this will be great. He can slap balls off the monster and run all day. Like this will be great. And he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna suck ass. And I was like, what?
Did you hear what happened to him after he retired from baseball? He invested a bunch of money into a music like label type thing, and he's the one that he had some big contract with Megan Thee Stallion, and he was like her manager when she was coming up and got famous. But when she actually got famous and made a bunch of money, she refused to give him his percentage, and like they've been going to court and stuff over it for a couple of years now. Like it's kind of a big deal.
See, it's what happens when you get that wet ass coffee. And
Oh, no.
But yeah, then they were saying mean stuff about each other in the media, and Carl Crawford said some pretty nasty things about her. It was kind of interesting. But yeah. But anyway, I think Carl was better than Evan Longoria in their primes. I just think Carl did more.
Well, the reason I ended up going with Longoria at 1, I guess if we're going to go ahead and say it,
Yeah, Longoria's mine.
Yeah, it's number two.
was because he's like the franchise leader in like 5 categories.
Well, when I told Dad, I said, Mr. Devil Ray is Evan Longoria. When I think of him, I think of Longoria. Like when I saw him, he's on the Diamondbacks when I went to the World Series, and I saw him, I said, oh, he played for the Rays.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't even in a game, but I think at this moment when he's getting interviewed and they're at batting practice or something, they hit it, and him and the announcer are talking, like he sees the ball and he just does this.
Yes, it was super impressive.
Like they're like down the foul ball line, this guy rips one and he just goes and just sticks his hand out and catches it right in front of the reporter's face and like goes, I'm like, that's nuts.
Well, he was an insane third baseman.
Yeah, he has 3 Gold Gloves.
I'll be honest, he probably should have 6 or 7. Injuries might have factored into that.
Yeah.
But,
And also being in Tampa when they weren't.
yeah, he was fucking good at third. My big strong feelings on Evan Longoria, I hinted at earlier, is if they would have surrounded him with more offensive talent during his prime years, I think he could have been every bit of Scott Rowland, if not a little bit better. But he never had people to get on base in front of him consistently or people to bat him in. Tampa, they can't spend money on all these sluggers,
I'm surprised he stayed as long as he did.
Yeah.
Well, the first couple years of his career, like his rookie year through his 3rd year in the league, are when they have those good teams. The ones where Pena's there and who else?
B.J. Upton and Carl Crawford and Zobrist.
Zobrist, all those guys are there. Here's his stats from those 3. This is his rookie season. 272 with 27 home runs and 85 RBIs, with a 874 OPS. Which is higher than like any season Ben Zobrist has ever had. And then then his second year in the league, you're like, oh, he had a great rookie year. No, he went 281 with 33 home runs and 113 RBIs with an 889 OPS. And then his third year in the league, he's 22 home runs, 104 RBIs with a 294 batting average and an 879 OPS.
Does he ever hit those highs again as far as RBIs?
No, he never gets triple digits again.
That's what I'm saying. It falls off a cliff, and he's never surrounded with talent for the rest of his career, consistently.
He has 3 more 30 home run seasons, but he never gets higher than 91 RBIs again.
Yeah, like he was really, really, really good. He was great at defense. Like he was phenomenal at third base there for a while.
Yeah.
He was like, I wouldn't quite put him on like Arenado's level. Arenado's kind of a whole nother animal. But Longoria was probably just like a notch below Arenado as far as just being amazing at third base. He had the arm. He was, he could do the, great at guarding the line. Like he was, all the great third basemen. He could do the whole diving across the foul line, catch it, stand up, and gut him out.
Yeah.
He had a cannon, an absolute cannon of an arm. At the 30 home run, 100 RBI power, I just feel like a lot of his prime was wasted, and this kind of irritates me when I think about it.
Oh, it totally was.
Like, he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, and now he's going to go down as a good player that will never sniff the Hall of Fame.
No, yeah. I was kind of hoping the Diamondbacks would win and he'd get one.
Yeah.
I mean, either way, I didn't really care this year in the World Series. Diamondbacks, Rangers. I was just happy. Everyone was complaining. No one's going to watch it. I'm like, I am going to watch it.
I did not watch it. I'll be honest.
I watched a couple games.
I didn't know who won until like 3 days after the World Series. I'm not going to lie. This year, I did not pay any attention.
I thought it was cool because it was someone different. Someone new was going to win our World Series.
No Astros.
Well, no. Technically, Diamondbacks won one. I forgot. But like,
Well, they won one, but they haven't won one in forever.
No, I mean, it was someone different. It wasn't the Astros or
It was,
the Dodgers.
In the 2000s, we've seen the Astros, the Dodgers, the Red Sox. Like, one of those has been in the World Series like every year.
Yeah.
The Giants. The Giants have won 3 during the 2000s.
Yeah.
But, one of those teams has been in the World Series every year. So it was kind of nice to see the D-backs and the Rangers. Like
I said, either way, I wasn't like cheering against somebody. Like it was, I don't know. It didn't bother me who won. I was just.
I'll be honest. The two teams, I was just kind of like, whatever. We'll just see what happens. And I just kind of forgot about the World Series this year. I'm not gonna lie. That I heard on the radio, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did not know who won the World Series.
That's the problem, though, right there. Wade's showing us a great example of it. This is why major sports don't like it when two teams like this make the Super Bowl or make the World Series or make the NBA Finals. And everybody's like, well, leagues are trying to fix it, so really popular teams make it every year. Well, if they're going to fix it, that's why. Because Wade's like, well, I didn't even watch because the two teams weren't that major. And, it's like...
Yeah, people were complaining about that, but then, like, people like me, I was like, I don't care. I'd rather it be this way. I didn't want it.
I did, too.
Everyone wanted it to be the Astros and Phillies again. I'm like, I don't want to watch them again.
No,
I didn't like either team.
Yeah, I didn't want either one of them in there.
And be honest with you, I don't care what anybody says. It's really fucking hard to like the Astros.
Until they're all gone. I'll say until they're all off the roster, I won't even think about it.
Here's my thing, though. Like, I don't know if we've ever talked about this on air. Like, it was one thing that they cheated, but the fact that first off, they got caught red-handed cheating, and the league did nothing about it, but except for to the team. Like, they fined the owner, they fired the general manager and suspended them, fired the manager and suspended them, fired the coaching staff and suspended them. The players got nothing. And the coaches the players pretty much rubbed it in our faces for an entire season after that of, like, we did it, deal with it. Essentially was their answer. There was no apology. There was no, hey, we messed up, we're learning from our mistakes. It was, so what? Yeah, we did it. Oh, yeah, like, their interviews were so obnoxious and so terrible. And then everybody expected us to feel sorry for them when teams started throwing at them.
No, I said throw more.
Yeah, and then the league started suspending guys for throwing at them. And I'm like, you guys are feeding the beast. Let guys bean them for the first month of the season, and this might go away. But, like, when the league started suspending pitchers for throwing at them, I was like, you're just feeding the fire. You're making the fans more mad because they feel like there's no retribution for their cheating.
Yeah.
Well, Major League Baseball commissioner came out and said that was his greatest regret, was not doing anything to the Astros players.
Yeah, dude, this is on par. This is almost on, not on par, but it's like look. I'm not saying you had to do what you did to these guys, but look what they did to the Black Sox.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying they should have, like, you guys are kicked out of the league, you can never play, you can never do. I'm not saying that. But, like, these guys couldn't even get a suspension.
Right. Do something to
I
them.
mean, in baseball, a 10-game suspension isn't going to be that big a deal. Or like, I'm just throwing that out there. Like,
No, it's
baseball, how
not.
long the season is, like, that's
Yeah.
nothing. I just don't know what they would have done. Like, they should have done something to them so they know, hey.
Like,
They should have.
like, you give guys a 100-game suspension for steroids, but this is right on par with steroids.
Oh, yeah.
Totally is.
oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a concerted thing, organized and orchestrated by all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean,
We're all pretty sure they did it again after for a little
Well,
while.
here's my thing: is it obviously worked? They broke the record for most home runs hit in like every portion of the playoffs, and then they were scoring like over 20 runs a game in the World Series.
well, you give a good player and tell him what pitch is coming?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think that's way more valuable than I got stronger on steroids.
Right.
Like
still guessing.
Seriously, they had like 5 All-Stars on their team. So you take an All-Star level player. One of them has an MVP.
Yeah.
Okay, Jose Altuve is an MVP. If you tell an MVP of the league, "Hey, we're going to tell you every pitch that's coming and the location," what?
Yeah. It's like batting practice.
Yes.
Balls are going out.
Yeah, beat on it. Fastball coming inside, so he turns. Okay, boom. Or breaking ball, it's coming down low. All right, you know where.
Or they're going to throw it low and outside while I'm not swinging.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I mean,
Yeah, it was.
it's just.
anyway, I can get off on a tangent on this for a while, so I'll let that go. All right. Are we done then? Is that all of our players? Nobody has
Yeah.
anybody left?
3 guys in and
One.
3 guys for
Holy
the
shit, we got
last
3
spot.
guys in. Okay.
Sweet.
Well, Drew, do you have all 3? I guess you do have all 3 of those guys,
Yeah.
don't you?
This is a new sport, Alex. I'm not perfect, so we can quit trying.
It's
know
not Zobrist, Ray. It's
Yeah,
Price.
Price, not Zobrist.
Oh, my bad.
All right, so Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria, and David Price are already in. So then we have Zobrist, McGriff, and Snell as options for the last place.
We got the 3 greatest Tampa Bay Rays in. Those are like the main 3.
Yeah.
So after that, I don't really think this is a huge. I don't think one of these guys is gonna make or break the list.
So we pretty much have all 5 of us have our number 4s up there, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty much-
Zobrist is my 4.
Yeah, McGriff's my 4.
Snell's my 4.
Well, here's the thing. Zobrist was an important part of their first ever World Series appearance. McGriff is the only Hall of Famer up there, and Snell has a Cy Young. So
Yeah.
just pick which one you want. You want the Hall of Famer, the Cy Young, or the World Series appearance? Or, yeah.
I don't know. The reason I didn't go, I'll just give you this. The reason I didn't go with Zobrist is because I kind of think of him with the Royals and the Cubs.
Oh, well.
You know what I
He did
mean?
win there.
Yeah, like
He
I
won the World Series.
you know, I watched those Royals games because I was so interested in the Royals finally being good, and they're right there in Kansas City. You know, I go see them play every year. And then my wife, being a big Cubs fan, I watched that entire playoff run every night. I was in front of the TV with Evan watching the Cubs play, and Zobrist was a big part of that.
I remember
He was
around
World Series
here,
MVP for a reason.
Yeah,
Around here, the Royals winning was a big deal.
it was.
I remember me and some of my friends aren't even big baseball, like have ever been big baseball fans, and like even they were watching. Like almost everyone I knew, it was exciting that the
We
Royals
watched
were
the Royals
good.
World Series.
The Royals have been the dregs of the league most of our entire lives.
So it was really exciting when
Yeah,
they
it
won the
was.
World
Yeah, because I
Series.
remember before the World Series that summer, the All-Star game was blowing up. Remember, at one point, all 9 positions was a Royal.
Yeah,
Because the fans had figured out a way to
Rig it.
vote. Yeah, they started voting way more. It was like everyone besides like Mike Trout was a Royal. Like it was nuts. Because wasn't Alex Gordon on those teams?
yeah.
Yes.
Alex Gordon, Moustakis, Hosmer,
Yeah, that little
Yeah.
athletic shortstop, Escobar.
Escobar. Then
Yeah.
that Perez was the catcher.
Perez, yeah.
They had the really fast center fielder that went to the Brewers after that. Kane, Lorenzo Kane.
Yeah, Lorenzo, yeah.
They had the Asian guy in right field,
Yeah, that really good first baseman that's still in the
Hosmer.
league. Oh, you already said him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Who
I
is
like
their-
Hosmer.
Who is their pitchers?
James Shields.
from the
He
Rays?
was a Ray.
Yeah. I almost put him on my
He
list
was on the
instead
first
of.
World Series team. I
Yeah,
think.
I thought about him.
They had a Latino guy that was their second guy that was really young at the time. I can't remember his name.
Let's think here.
And really, though, their starters weren't super. Other than Shields, they weren't super good, but their bullpen was just lights out.
They did have like three guys that you couldn't hit. Who
Yeah.
the hell were they? I can't remember now. They had
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 guys that were just. They were 3 automatic outs. I can't remember who they were.
I just remember watching those World Series when they lost the first one to the Giants, and then when they beat the Mets.
Yeah,
I remember watching them.
it was pretty crazy.
The American League was kind of like that for a couple of years. A team would go on a run.
Mhm.
Like the Rangers went 2 years, and then the Red Sox went for a year. I know they won in 13.
Sorry.
I'm just talking about like the
Yeah, we
American
won in
League team. They
13,
went like they would go
13,
like in a
18.
year, like a 2-year span. Like teams would go like the Rangers did it, the Royals did it, the Red Sox won a year. Like the American League, no one like dominated throughout the whole time until
Even the Rays recently have like 2
yeah.
or a couple of different appearances right there. But yeah. All right.
So how are we going to shake this out?
Oh, I don't even know. Oh.
Oh. I don't know.
Well, I could go to Crime Dog.
All right. Yay.
I mean,
I feel like
I really liked him.
another thing with McGriff, not only him just being a Hall of Famer, but he's also
no.
the
Right,
one.
Dad had a Zobrist.
Zobrist.
Don't take off Alex's pick.
No more Snell. But he's also a kind of a
yeah.
different era of Ray than some of these. All these other guys are all.
He's the
same era.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of neat. So
Yeah.
you don't have all these guys that play the same time together.
And he had really good seasons while in
Yeah.
the years he was there.
I mean, I just thought, like I said, he's a Hall of Famer. He's spent just as long there as he did anywhere else in his career. All right. Anybody else want to come over to Crime Dog?
I don't know. Who else has got Zobrist?
I do.
This is interesting. if I went to McGriff, it would be 3-1 still, and we still have no.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I want a future pick.
But at least it'd still be one more vote towards getting one more person in.
That's true. I don't know.
I really thought you were going to ask for a future pick in the future, right? Like next episode, Wade, you have to just side with me if it's.
Huh? That's interesting that you bring that up.
Oh, so you want to trade here? I get your back next episode.
Well, we don't have to say next episode. We say a
Next
future.
next opportunity you have, so it's not forced
Yeah.
upon.
This is interesting. Alex, what are your thoughts? Schnell?
I don't have a lot of thoughts.
That sounds about normal.
My thoughts are I see a Taco Bell commercial and I'm hungry.
That does look good.
I say Taco
too.
Bell,
Real
that
good.
looks real good.
All right. Is anybody like really hung up on a guy?
No, I'm gonna
No.
go ahead. I'm gonna go McGriff. Fuck it.
No, it's fine. When you go to McGriff, that's fine with me. I'm not.
Well, I guess I won't be the holdout, so fuck it. Let's go to McGriff.
If we were here too long, we just want to.
Do you want me to put an asterisk up there for you, Alex?
No, I'm fine with this one.
Yeah,
No,
we got.
I'm not asterisk. I'm not putting the
What are we
asterisk up. No.
The Walter Jones one was a for real asterisk, right?
Get out of here.
Yes, it was. You guys disrespected that poor man.
Wait till we get back to basketball.
Oh, man.
The disrespect.
All right.
All right. Well, that means our final tallies here are in, and the Tampa Bay Rays Mount Rushmore is Fred McGriff, David Price, Carl Crawford, and Evan Longoria. It's not the top Mount Rushmore of all time, but I'd say it's a decent 4.
I think so.
I think that. I mean, obviously there is a Hall of Famer up there. I don't think any of the other three guys are going to get in the Hall, but they all have some All-Star games and some other awards. There's a Rookie of the Year and some Gold Gloves up there. So Cy Young. So we were able to make a pretty decent, decent thing out of it. So I'm glad with that. And that will end our Rays portion of this episode and move us into What If. And today's What If is, what if the 98 home run race didn't happen?
What happens to baseball?
So does that mean they're not on steroids?
Yeah, I about to say steroid sales would be way down.
Yeah.
I guess it could mean that. I mean, I guess that's the most likely thing leading to them not having that
Let's see.
run.
And then,
Mark McGuire's sponsorship with McDonald's wouldn't be in the stadium.
well, if that doesn't happen, then Barry Bonds doesn't get jealous and juice and break all his records.
That's true as
So
well.
there's some dominoes already falling, and the record books are already reshaping.
Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame because he's a good player,
yes,
Right.
but
not
he's-
because he's this guy who hit 72 home runs.
and
So
and broke the all-time home run record
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Yeah.
Barry, you're right. The big thing is Barry Bonds is in the Hall of Fame.
right.
For
Yeah.
being what he did with the Pirates.
Yeah, he'd probably be in with still like 500 home runs and like 1,800 RBIs.
And like 3 or 4 MVPs. He already had
Yeah.
like 3 of them.
And some Gold Gloves. He
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
Gold Gloves, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
he stole bases when he was younger. Like he
Yeah,
would have went down as an all-time great already.
Yeah.
He was an all. Yeah.
Well, and Hank Aaron's still the home run leader, and
Yeah. Well, if McGuire and Bonds don't break the single-season record,
Roger
that
Maris.
means Roger Maris still has the record.
Still has the record.
Well, no, Aaron Judge does.
Oh,
Oh,
Aaron
How
Judge is the
How
all-time
many
lead.
did he hit?
He hit 63.
62.
So Judge has the record then
So
right
the
now?
Judge would
Or
have
is
the
that
single.
tied? How many did Maris
Oh.
hit? 61 or
61. 61.
Okay, so,
So
yeah,
Aaron
so
Judge
Aaron
has the
Judge
record.
is
Judge
the home
would
run
be the-
king.
The home run king, yeah, single season.
Oh, shit. Yeah, that would have been nuts
Yeah.
to watch the home run chase just a couple years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
Cody
another Yankee. Yeah.
Yeah.
No Bonds, no McGuire, no Sosa.
But we know what that also means? Like that takes the NL out of it.
Yeah,
Because that was one of the big things is like all the guys that were breaking the record were in the NL.
right.
And then if you take those guys out
it's another Yankee.
and you pick another Yankee, it's just another American League guy, another Yankee.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man.
Well, let me ask this though.
Judge is the leader. I don't like
But
that.
how much pressure is on him?
Well, I mean, a
Right,
lot.
yeah. Pressure definitely
there was
ramps up.
pressure on him to do it anyway, but just to beat Roger Maris's record, but to be
It would have been a
It
lot
would have been a
more
lot more.
pressure.
I mean, Drew, you weren't alive to appreciate it, but you should watch the documentary they made.
I did, yeah. I
But
watched
like
one.
the pressure on those guys was enormous.
Yeah, I could
I
tell
mean,
by the end of the
enormous.
documentary. I mean, when he was at the game, McGuire didn't want to play. The
Yeah,
last
like
day.
they were talking about how much anxiety it was giving them, and like they not only that, but like every single pitch of every single at bat for like the whole second half of their season, everybody in every stadium was on their feet with bated breath, waiting. And if you struck out and had to walk back to the dugout, everybody screamed at you, told you sucked because they were pissed off because they didn't get to see one of your home runs. And like it was an enormous. And the closer they got, the more that built, and the more that built. And
Well,
Yeah.
I tell you, I was there when McGuire hit 69 and 70. Yeah,
I was there as well.
It was electric.
Yes.
I mean, it was just crazy. And Drew's right. After he hit 68 the day before, he had it. And
Yeah.
he talked about not playing that last day. And they said, no, why don't you,
Tony talked him
you
into
need to
it.
play for the fans. And he goes, yeah. He says, I do. I need to play for. Then he hit 2 more.
Yeah, well, then the other thing is that everybody forgets about because now in hindsight you forget about it. But he hit another home run in a game that only played 3 innings and it was rained out and they had to make it up another day, so he got taken off
Yeah,
the tally
taken away.
because the Marriott across the street had these huge tarps that were keeping count of his home run count once he hit like 50, and at the end it said 70 and a half.
Yeah.
Because he had hit one that didn't count because of the rain out.
That's bullshit.
I still find it funny. The one when he broke the record, it was just a little drooper over the line of Bush. Like all these big home runs McGuire hit all year, and it's just barely got over.
Got out, yeah.
But the thing was, I remember when watching that documentary, he broke the record, but he still had to beat Sosa.
Right, yeah. He had to stay ahead of Sammy.
You can't let a Cub beat you.
Right. Well, and another neat thing about that whole season was Mark's son was the bat boy.
Yeah.
So his son was there with him through a lot of this stuff.
Well, hang on. Oh, if we're just taking away 98, or we're just taking away, doesn't Sosa hit 60 more than once?
He had 63 years in a row.
Yeah.
So does Sosa have the record if we take away just 98?
Well, here's the thing, though. We made the caveat ourselves that the reason they didn't do it is because they weren't on roids.
Yeah.
So that would just take all of Sosa's huge seasons.
Yeah, you're right.
Unless the cork bat was the other secret weapon.
Yeah, that
He's
was
double
so
combo.
good.
Where's King Griffey at?
Well, King Griffey's
He hit 58 that year, right? In the same year?
So he's higher up on the
I
list.
think it was 58, wasn't it?
I know it was.
Because he was with,
somewhere in
right
the
there with
50s.
him
for a while, yeah.
He hit 56. He hit 56
he didn't have
back-to-back
Sarah-
years in 97 and 98.
Did he have a couple seasons of like 150 RBIs during around that time? Or was it one like?
He had 147 and 146, but in 140 the year before that.
Those are nuts. That's nuts, and that's no steroids.
But
Yeah.
let me,
Oh,
let
yeah,
me
we
ask you
know.
guys this one. So how old is Judge?
Probably
28, I think.
Shoot, yeah, we
28?
went over
It's
this.
in the 30s already. I think.
Okay.
Is he already in his 30s?
So
He's old.
He's older than what you think. 'Cause when we looked it up,
He won't
the
get.
other day?
He won't sniff 500 home runs.
yeah, we talked about this.
He's
Yeah,
old, man.
so I'm going to go further down the rabbit hole.
He's 31.
So
Yeah.
if the home run race never happened, and say was motivated by the home run race, say it didn't happen, would he still go into baseball, Judge, and would he would go down farther and break this record? Because stuff like this in sports motivates people to play sports. Like, man, I just seen him hit 70. I want to be like that.
So are you
Staying
asking if
Judge
he'd be-
farther down the line, this incident doesn't happen. Are you saying that he still goes in baseball and breaks it? Or are you saying that maybe he branches off and does something else?
plays football or something?
Well, I mean, I will
a
say
good
this.
point.
I mean, it's a great point, Ray. I mean, there's no way we're going to be able to answer it. But, I mean, it's a really great point. But the bigger point, based on what Ray is saying, is what the fuck happens to baseball?
Well, if
Right.
that
Yeah.
doesn't, they save
Because-
baseball.
The 30 for 30 is the season that saved baseball, or the guys that saved, because baseball was dying because of the strike.
Yeah, the 94 strike screwed baseball
And,
hard.
I mean, it was
It was
awful.
dying fast.
And then Sosa McGuire saved it. I mean, that got everybody
Well,
excited about
the
it.
Cardinals
again,
were
got
no-
people watching it again.
Cardinals were no good that year, but every day they turn on ESPN.
yeah.
And say, everyone would turn on ESPN. Did they hit a home run?
Bush was sold out every night. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean,
Here's the thing. In 1998, everybody can tell you about McGuire and Sosa. How many people can tell you who won the World Series?
Right.
the
Yeah.
Yankees.
I mean, it probably is the Yankees. I mean, they won like 6 of them right there together.
Right.
But like, I'm just saying, like, people would guess the Yankees, but I'm saying, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be like, unless they were guessing, wouldn't know.
The perfect person would be my mom. She could tell you. Not the World Series, but she would tell you about 98.
Wow.
She would know, but
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
but she would have no idea who won the World Series, but she'd be able to tell you.
Yeah. I think Alex is right. A lot of people would just guess the Yankees and be correct just because everyone knows they won like all the championships in the late 90s.
Yeah.
But if it was like, you know, it's, yeah. People,
Yeah, I think without that season, I don't know what happens to baseball,
Yeah.
it's hard to say.
because their numbers were way down,
Mm-hmm.
and
Strikes hurt sports.
they do.
I mean, their numbers are back down.
Well,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Lockouts and strikes both hurt sports, but strikes really, really hurt sports because fans can't get behind players that are making millions of dollars going,
Yeah.
I don't make enough, pay me more. Then fans just get mad, call them spoiled, and quit watching.
Yeah.
That's the thing. When owners lock out the players, fans are like, "Hey, quit this. We want to watch sports."
Right.
You know, and they don't blame the players. But when the players are refusing to play, it comes across like entitlement and spoiled brats. And regardless of whether it's right or wrong, that's how fans look at it.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I think just a lot of people just look at it, no matter the situation, if the sport's not going on because millionaires are fighting with billionaires, you just naturally just like shut up and just do what you're supposed to do.
You
and
get
go
to play a sport for your profession.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Or you
all of us
own.
that love sports would give anything to be where those guys are at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You spent your whole life idolizing that stuff.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
know,
we
would
still
love
play.
to be get paid for that.
Yeah. All of us, Uncle wasn't quite around when Uncle Doug was younger, but we all still play video games and emulate what they do
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. Like that's part of
Shit.
our childhoods. We played video games
I was playing.
that gave you the most real life equation of what it's like to be them.
Well,
Like-
it's not even like the sports games. I'll be going and work sometimes, and I'll go to somebody and be like, "Oh, you can," like a fucking Street Fighter bullshit, fucking
Shit,
with
all the time
people.
at practice, I'll do a Euro step around somebody. I'm just,
Oh yeah. How many people, whenever they throw anything in the trash, go Kobe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Everyone
Yep.
for decades now.
it'll never.
Kobe. Everyone says Kobe too. It's not anybody else. Usually,
It's always Kobe.
It's always Kobe. Kobe. Everyone does Kobe.
Yeah, it's so crazy because, even like Tom, not even a sports fan,
No.
but we're playing cornhole, and he just nothing but nets one. He'll yell Kobe.
See?
Yeah,
I
and
can't even fucking dribble a basketball. That motherfucker knows to say Kobe when he makes something.
yeah,
Well, no, ask Dad. I was playing NHL last night, acting like I was
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky on.
See?
I put him on someone's roster, and I was just going around scoring goals.
These people have been important parts of our lives, our entire lives.
Yeah.
So when they just choose to not just up and play, lots of people are just like, fuck these people, We idolize you and you just want more money.
yeah. Which again, I get it.
Sure.
Like, to an
more that
extent.
There's more that
Oh, yeah,
goes
there's a
into
lot
it than
more.
that.
No, there is.
That's the overall view of it.
No,
like-
I agree with you. I'm the one that brought it up.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, to an extent, I get it. Like, you want what's fair.
Right.
What's fair to you. But when you're making millions of dollars a year, people don't look at fair. They're like, you're rich. Shut up.
Yeah.
You
were
know?
born 6'8", I was born 5'6".
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I can't jump out of the gym.
Yeah.
Well, and especially with baseball, you're up to bat 3 to 4 times a game, and then once you're out to bat, you sit on the bench. It's not like you're doing anything.
Especially when you're the DH guy.
Probably the most probably the most work you're doing is in the gym and at practice, because half the time you're standing around in the outfield, waiting for the ball to get hit. Now, I'm not downplaying their skill set or anything.
Right.
I'm trying to put in perspective about how much work is actually being played in the field at a time. Like, the pitcher's probably been put in most of work.
Catchers as well.
Catcher, too.
Catchers,
You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
give catchers credit. In the middle of
Yeah.
July and August, I don't want to be crashing on my knees for 9 innings in the middle of Texas.
Think
Or
about it, though. You could be a first baseman and play an entire game of baseball and not even have to run. If you go 0
Yeah.
for 3 with 3 strikeouts and just play first base and nothing crazy happens
telling
where you
you.
have to sprint and cover up something, you can go an entire game and not even have to run.
Yeah,
You can just stand.
And some of them starting pitchers had the biggest belly of all time, like David Wells, and there was a Spanish pitcher that
Louis Tiant.
yeah.
Well, probably the greatest player of all time is Babe Ruth, and he was
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
fatty. I mean,
Well,
He was a fatty.
he was
some of the
fatty.
starting pitchers, you pitch
Yeah.
once, now you get almost a week off. You just sit in the dugout, have fun.
I said we were just talking before we went on the air about how hard Wade worked this week. 10 below zero,
Yeah.
wind howling, and he's out there working hours and hours. It's hard when you're doing something like that to have sympathy for somebody that's getting
Yeah.
paid millions of dollars.
Well, they're going down to Florida or
Play your
Arizona
favorite
for spring training.
I'm over here loading barges in negative 11-degree weather.
No, very good
I
one.
think being a relief pitcher
Yeah.
would be kind of cool.
It would be.
I mean,
Especially for like a-
I guess the
bit of-
overall answer is
an average
it could
guy,
potentially
where you
have led
put
to
in
the end of
time.
baseball.
Yeah.
It could have.
like
Yeah.
30 times a
certain
year.
battery.
But
really
at the
good
same
again.
time, it may not have, but it could have had huge repercussions to records, the home run list, all
yeah.
sorts of things.
Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, yep.
Well, if you take away the steroids right around there, there's a lot more. It's not just Bond, Sosa, and McGuire. I mean, Rafael Palmeiro
Yeah.
got busted
A-Rod.
at the same time.
A-Rod.
The first time. There was like 5 more after that.
Yeah, I think he got caught 4 times.
Yeah, I think he got 2 or 3 just the Yankees.
Yeah.
Anyway, but there's more that we're not. I can't think of the top.
There was a
of my
ton of guys that got caught.
head.
over
Roger
eventually.
Clemens.
Yeah, Clemens.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Clemens is probably considered the greatest pitcher ever now because he's got like 1 million Cy Youngs and
Some
yeah.
World Series because he's on those
Yeah.
Yankees teams.
So like people look at Roger Clemens probably as like the GOAT pitcher, and then you got Rafael Palmeiro's name isn't thrown in the dirt, and it's I don't know. There's a lot more Hall of Famers that, yeah.
Well, Jose Canseco will tell you that he never would have made the majors without steroids. He started taking steroids in the minors.
Oh my gosh.
Good for him. Hey, he made himself a bunch of money.
Made himself a bunch of money. Got him. Was hooking up with celebrities. I mean, he was banging Madonna for a while.
I mean, you look on just the overall outlook of life. He won.
Yeah.
He fucking won. We all know his name. He writes books that we all.
I was gonna say now
read.
he has a couple big book deals.
Yeah.
Like
He's
yeah,
not an idiot.
He won. He cheated and won life.
yeah.
It happens frequently.
He's not an idiot. He still has a bunch of the money.
Yeah, he probably doesn't, but he never know.
By the way, I don't mean to sound like a weirdo, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Have you seen Canseco's daughter?
No.
No.
Oh, buddy, smoke show.
Oh,
I thought you were going the other way.
I didn't know. I thought it was gonna be bad. I was like,
Oh no, not bad, sir, not bad.
I guess that's what steroids get you.
Maybe so. Maybe he made a superhuman daughter. I don't know.
I gotta look her up now.
All right. Well, I think that wraps up our what if for the day, and we'll wrap up this episode. We appreciate you tuning in for this Tampa Bay Rays episode, and we would appreciate you tuning in next week for our Toronto Blue Jays episode, a team with more great players, but not still not like the Yankees from a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. And we appreciate you tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.